The very day before Charlie Kirk died, he expressed that he thought he was going to be killed. He told these people, I think they're going to kill me.
She's not backing down, not for a second. Candace Owens just turned the internet upside down again, and this time her claims are flat out explosive. If anyone thought she'd slow down after dropping bombshells about what really happened to Charlie Kirk, surprise, she's turning the heat all the way up. According to Candace, Charlie confided in close friends that he was getting serious threats and feared for his life just days before he was gone. She didn't just say it, she came with receipts. Candace posted what she swore were real screenshots and messages from people inside Kirk's circle, revealing shocking tension between him and major donors. Those same donors, she said, started freezing funds right after Charlie's bold comments about Israel, and that timing, way too suspicious to brush off. Then came the jaw-drop moment. Candace pointed the finger at certain pro-Israel donors and high-level lobbyists, hinting they may have created the perfect storm that pushed Charlie into danger. When she mentioned billionaire Bill Ackman as part of that alleged pressure, the internet straight up exploded. People couldn't believe what they were hearing. But she didn't stop there. Candace went for the jugular, accusing federal investigators of hiding evidence and cleaning up the story to make it look neat for the media. She boldly called it a coordinated cover-up, and her followers lost it. Then she dropped another bomb, claiming that Charlie ordered a full internal audit of Turning Point USA just a week before everything went down.
Didn't share this publicly. It was because this was a private message between Charlie and some people, some Jews and non-Jews, where he was, frustrated. He was frustrated, and that would have felt like a betrayal to my friend because he never said anything like that publicly in like a show, right?
With total conviction, she declared the suspect, Tyler Robinson, was framed and that the FBI might be burying the truth. This is chaos turned up to 100. And while the public tried to keep up, online detectives went wild. They claimed what happened to Charlie wasn't random at all. It looked like a professional hit. Some said it carried the signature of a foreign operation, while others blamed rogue insiders from within the U.S. government. Yeah, that's how deep this mess runs. Then, as always, the internet did what it does best. Theories everywhere. Without hard proof, people started connecting Charlie's death to the U.S. money pipeline to Ukraine. And another group of users went full conspiracy mode, saying maybe Charlie didn't even die. They pointed to one video where his ring seemed to switch fingers mid-scene, or he literally switched sides. Sure, some people said it was probably a hinged ring that flips open, but that tiny moment sent TikTok and Reddit into a frenzy. He faked his death, flooded the comment sections everywhere. It was internet chaos at its peak. And just when things couldn't get any weirder, people started studying the crowd in those videos. Viewers swore the bystanders were making odd hand signs and coded gestures seconds before the attack. Some even claimed it looked like spy-style coordination. Wild, right? But then
Others knew that Charlie was done with Israel, him, and I am now going to present you proof of what I am saying. This is an actual group chat, which happened 2 days before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. There were 9 people in total on this chat, including Charlie and Rob McCoy. I'm going to protect the names of the other 7 for now.
the controversy hit nuclear levels when Israel's name got dragged into it. Some online commentators linked it to Mossad, suggesting Kirk was targeted for digging too deep into Epstein files. They said he feared Israel might silence him if he exposed too much, a claim that Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu immediately dismissed as insane. Still, that's exactly the angle Candace wouldn't drop. Right after things blew up online, she posted on X, Charlie Kirk was fighting with some very powerful billionaires that he took money from. The pressure on him was immense that one post blew up faster than a wildfire. Then she promised, over the next 2 weeks, the truth will be revealed, the messages will be leaked, and the movement he built will rise again. And guess what? She followed through. Candace released what she said were Charlie Kirk's real private group chat messages, and they were straight up explosive. In those texts, Kirk was allegedly venting that big Jewish donors were cutting funds because he refused to drop Tucker Carlson from his America Fest event. According to one leaked screenshot, Charlie wrote that he lost a $2 million donation after he refused to disinvite Tucker. That line alone sent the internet into meltdown.
To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week, but I want to show you this because suffice it to say, Rob McCoy was on this text thread, and I think it helps contextualize him as a person, in my view, that he would attack me for telling the truth about the pressure that he was facing.
Some said Candace faked the texts. Others said it fit everything she'd been saying for weeks. But then came the real twist. A Turning Point USA spokesman, Andrew Vid, confirmed the messages were real. Andrew admitted, yes, those were Charlie's messages. He even said, "I'm relieved the truth is finally out," adding that the only reason he stayed quiet was because it was private. He said Charlie's views on Israel were complicated and nuanced, and that he personally wanted peace in Gaza. That one statement sent the rumor mill spinning off the rails. So say whatever you want about Candace, but when it comes to those leaked messages, she wasn't bluffing. And just when everyone thought she'd take a breather, she went darker, claiming Charlie predicted his own death. Candace said 3 separate people told her privately that Charlie had confessed he feared something bad was coming. That's chilling stuff, but the madness didn't stop there. Candace once again insisted that Tyler Robinson was framed. She tore apart the official story, calling it twisted from the start. Here's how she broke it down. After police released images of the suspect, a man in Washington, Utah said they looked like his son, Tyler James Robinson, a third-year electrical apprentice at Dixie Technical College. Authorities immediately pounced on him, but according to Candace, most of what was reported never even happened.
Very much, and maybe this is a poor way of saying it, a straight said, yes, I have training, and I don't want to give too many identifying details here, but this person himself has a lot of experience with and knows and, helps to train people in that sort of a capacity, and said that they observed that individual, the FBI saying that the dropped onto the roof at 12:15 didn't make sense to him. He said earliest it was 12:22 that the individual ran across, set up, took the and I said, well, you must have been there, because he then sends me.
And now everyone's asking the same terrifying question. If Candace is right, then who's really behind it all? After those photos hit the internet, the story spun completely off the rails. Tyler Robinson's own father reportedly confronted him face to face. And what happened next had everyone's jaws on the floor. Instead of running to social media or the press, the father quietly reached out to his LDS Mormon bishop, who then went straight to the U.S. Marshal Service. That one phone call triggered a full-blown domino effect that would change the entire investigation forever. From there, things only got weirder. Investigators started combing through every detail of Tyler's life, and the deeper they dug, the stranger it got. They questioned his transgender roommate, who was also said to be romantically linked to him, and according to reports, this person turned over some chilling messages.
I wanted to see all of the metadata of when he took that footage, and the metadata begins at 12:22 and goes into 12:23, the very minute that Charlie gets. And he says, yeah, I had just stopped recording about 20 seconds before the rang out. And he said that he told them a description of what the like, and it was not the description that the entire world received less than 24 hours later of this person, Tyler Robinson, wearing jeans. I said, was he wearing jeans?
Those texts allegedly showed Tyler talking about needing to pick up a rifle from a drop point, describing how he left it stashed in a bush like he was in some secret mission. He even mentioned wrapping it in a towel and watching the area. Who even says stuff like that unless something serious is going down? To make things creepier, the rifle supposedly had a scope-engraved bullet and was described as one of a kind. The internet went into a total frenzy over that one detail, but then came the real twist. Investigators claimed they had multiple photos and surveillance clips placing Tyler on campus that day. According to the footage, a man matching his look pulled up in a gray Dodge Challenger around 8:29 a.m., but his outfit didn't match the shooter's later on. Weird, right? Then at 11:50 a.m., he was allegedly seen walking across a grassy area toward a nearby parking lot. Just 3 minutes later, he stopped at the top of some stairs, pulled out his phone, and stepped into a pedestrian tunnel, almost like he was following a schedule. By 12:02 p.m., cameras caught him walking along the north side of the Losay Center, the same place Charlie Kirk was speaking that day. Investigators said the suspect entered the Losay Center from the southeast entrance, and by 12:22 p.m., he was spotted on the roof, lying flat on his stomach with a rifle aimed toward the stage. Just 1 minute later, 12:23 p.m., a single gunshot cracked through the air, hitting Charlie Kirk in the neck from roughly 130 meters away.
Express that to me. So I am telling you this based off the testimony of 3 people. And I am saying this because I hope that these people who I think are good will be inspired to come forward with that. Now, again, those conversations I had were off record. I honor that. If I say it's off record, it stays off record. But I'm hoping that watching what I am doing and feeling the energy that is rising across the world for people who want to know what the heck happened on 9/10, that, they will be brave and they will say, yeah, Charlie did the day before he died think that he was going to be killed. Maybe tell us, who is they? Well, for once and for all, who is they? Who is the they that he thought were going to kill him?
The timeline sounded almost too perfect, too cinematic, like something straight out of a scripted thriller. And that's exactly why Candace Owens and millions online weren't buying it. The sound of that shot echoed like thunder. Chaos exploded across the courtyard as terrified screams filled the air. Students dropped to the ground, people tripped over chairs, guards rushed the stage, pure panic everywhere. Some even thought it was part of a stunt until they saw the blood, and then all hell broke loose. Within minutes, sirens wailed from every direction. Campus police, SWAT, and federal agents stormed the scene like they were hitting a battlefield. Helicopters swirled overhead while officers barked orders to take cover. But even with cameras all over the campus somehow, the shooter just vanished. Poof! Gone! That's when confusion turned into suspicion. People couldn't stop asking how someone could climb a roof, fire a single shot, and disappear under the watch of full security. Nothing about it made sense. Not to Candace, not to anyone. When the suspect's name, Tyler Robinson, hit the headlines, the internet didn't just react, it erupted. TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, every platform blew up with wild theories. Some said it was a political hit, others screamed setup, and a few insisted the footage showed a totally different person. Candace wasted no time jumping back online. Within hours, she went live, eyes blazing, saying, "They think they can fool the world with this staged story, but I've seen the real receipts." Her followers went wild. Comments poured in demanding the truth, while critics accused her of stirring the pot. But Candace didn't flinch. She fired back even harder. She claimed there were two shooters, one on the roof and one on the ground, acting as a spotter. According to her, that would explain the mismatched timelines and footage inconsistencies. She even said the rifle video could have been pre-recorded and edited into the official surveillance feed. "They're rewriting reality in front of our eyes," she declared. Meanwhile, Turning Point USA was struggling to hold its message together. Their statement called it a tragic act of violence by a disturbed individual, but that only made people more suspicious. Online sleuths noticed there was no footage of Tyler leaving the roof, no witness seeing him run, and no report of any chase. It was like he disappeared into thin air. Then came something truly bizarre. Screenshots showing a mysterious 10-minute gap in the surveillance logs from 12:25 to 12:35 p.m. Candace posted about it saying, "How does 10 minutes of footage vanish right after the shot? Ask the FBI." That single post blew up with over 10 million views in one day. Reporters swarmed the university demanding answers, but every time someone asked about the footage gap or the second suspect, officials brushed it off with the same line: ongoing investigation. No denial, no details, just silence. And that silence screamed louder than any explanation ever could. Students began uploading their own clips, shaky footage of chaos, screaming voices, and one video that went viral showing a guard yelling into his radio, "He's not up there anymore!" That clip alone lit up the internet, with thousands claiming it proved Candace's theory about the shooter escaping before police even reached the roof. By day 2, hashtags like #WhoShotCharlieKirk and #CandaceWasRight were trending across the globe. News outlets tried to calm the storm, but only added more fuel to it. Mainstream reporters painted Candace as reckless, but couldn't deny she'd been right about some things: the donor freeze, the audit, even the missing footage. Suddenly, her timeline started looking a lot more believable. People began comparing her claims to official reports and spotting glaring contradictions. One said Tyler entered campus at 8:29 a.m., another said 9:42 a.m., and even crazier, one affidavit mentioned a security alert sent out at 12:19 p.m., 4 minutes before the shot was fired. How could they know something was coming before it happened? That's when Candace dropped yet another bomb. She said a whistleblower from inside the Utah State Bureau of Investigation reached out to her team and confirmed that a second firearm had been found hidden in a drainage pipe near the scene. She didn't name her source, but she showed what looked like an internal email referencing recovered ballistic material. That post racked up over 60,000 comments in just 2 hours. And with that, the entire case went from tragic to downright terrifying, because if Candace was right, this wasn't just a crime, it was a setup of monumental proportions. Law enforcement rushed to shut everything down, but their words only made things worse. They denied any leaks, yet carefully avoided denying that a second weapon existed. Instead, they dropped the line: "The evidence presented online is unverified." But for millions watching, that sounded less like denial and more like a slip-up. Right then, Turning Point USA's top donors started to panic. One major benefactor even went public, releasing a fiery open letter demanding a full independent investigation into both the organization's finances and Charlie Kirk's death. They claim the official story leaves too many questions unanswered, and that single letter cracked open a floodgate of speculation about what Charlie might have uncovered in that mysterious audit Candace had been teasing for weeks. While the FBI stayed eerily silent, Candace turned the pressure up full blast. She appeared on multiple podcasts declaring, "They think I'm scared to name names, but if anything happens to me, you'll know why." That quote went insanely viral overnight. Fans flooded her comments with "Protect Candace" messages, while others said they're scared because she knows too much. The tension was electric. Meanwhile, Tyler Robinson's family finally spoke out, and what his father said left everyone stunned. "My son wasn't capable of this," he told reporters. "He was manipulated or someone used him." That confession hit like dynamite. Then, out of nowhere, people noticed Tyler's roommate, the same person who handed over those suspicious texts, had completely vanished online. Deleted accounts, wiped photos, gone without a trace, total digital blackout. By the weekend, conspiracy boards had branded it the Utah cover-up, while others called it the Kirk Files. Whatever the name, one thing was clear. Nobody trusted the official version anymore. And Candace, she kept feeding that fire like a pro. In one fiery live stream, she said, "When I told you there were people trying to bury this, I meant it. The truth doesn't need protecting. Lies do." That line exploded across social media, spreading like a battle cry. She promised she had even more receipts, screenshots, insider DMs, maybe even video evidence proving the timeline was fake. Her followers went absolutely wild, claiming this wasn't just about Charlie Kirk anymore. This was about exposing an entire system. But then came the moment that sent chills through everyone's spine. Right at the end of that stream, Candace stared straight into the camera and whispered, "They already came for Charlie. If I'm next, remember everything I said tonight?" Then silence. No outro, no goodbye, just the screen fading to black while millions sat frozen, replaying that sentence on loop. Then more footage surfaced and it changed everything again. Surveillance clips didn't just show the shot being fired, they appeared to show the shooter's escape. Cameras caught a figure sprinting across the Losay Center rooftop, dropping from the north side where the ground sits higher, just enough to jump without breaking bones. At 12:24 p.m., the blurry figure could be seen hanging from the ledge before dropping into the chaos below like a ghost. Investigators later said they recovered palm prints from the roof's edge and found a single footprint on the ground. Converse sneakers. Nearby, a scoped rifle wrapped in fabric lay hidden in the woods along with engraved bullet casings. On paper, it sounded airtight, but Candace wasn't buying any of it. She ripped the entire evidence trail apart, calling it something out of a movie script. She said Tyler Robinson was innocent, just a pawn caught in a political trap crafted by people tied to old security networks. She claimed everything from the so-called suicide note rumors to the father's supposed confession was scripted to shut the case fast. Her reasoning was simple. If Tyler planned to surrender, why didn't he confess? Why go quiet right after saying he'd cooperate? She also questioned why the FBI claimed the gun was his when everyone said he wasn't even into firearms. His own friends said he hated loud noises and never went near shooting ranges. Then came the eerie part. Candace said the messages supposedly sent by Tyler didn't even sound like him. Tyler didn't talk like that, she said. He never used words like vehicle or retrieve. That's not how a 22-year-old apprentice texts. And people online agreed, saying it sounded robotic, like something written by AI or altered after the fact. To make it even heavier, Candace claimed Tyler's father privately told her team that he never believed his son was guilty. That revelation flipped everything upside down. If the father didn't believe it, then who did? But Candace wasn't finished. Not even close. She revealed she'd received an unreleased video from an anonymous source. She said it was door cam footage from a nearby building that the feds never made public. According to her, it showed the real shooter, and he wasn't alone. "You can see him moving with a woman beside him," she said. "She was helping him. That's why they won't release it." Social media erupted instantly. People flooded Reddit with the same question. If the FBI already released multiple angles of the suspect, why would they hide this one clip? What was so damaging about it? Within hours, hashtags like #hidden footage and #release the door cam were trending worldwide. Candace tweeted, "You can't hide the truth forever," and said she'd release the clip herself once her team verified it. Millions of people waited, refreshing nonstop, desperate for what she'd drop next. But she didn't stop there. She exposed another bizarre twist. Why were FBI agents from Connecticut flown to Utah for this case? You're telling me Utah doesn't have its own field office? She asked. Why bring outsiders unless someone's pulling the strings? That question drove conspiracy circles wild. Then she hit with another revelation. Every single so-called witness who claimed to have seen Tyler's arrest had some kind of law enforcement connection. Every single one. Candace called that her smoking gun, saying it proved how manipulated the entire case really was. She said her sources told her Tyler might never have even been on campus that day. The arrest timeline didn't add up, and investigators refused to name the person who supposedly helped track him down. Why hide that name if it's just a normal citizen? She asked. What are they protecting? Then came the theory that made the internet lose its mind. The Dairy Queen angle. Reports said Tyler stopped at a Dairy Queen just 17 minutes after the attack. Candace mocked the claim, saying, "So we're supposed to believe a man just committed a public assassination and stopped for a blizzard on the way home? Make it make sense." Then she flipped the script. Maybe Dairy Queen was where he was framed. Her followers went absolutely crazy, and as if that wasn't wild enough, Candace claimed a source told her the FBI's evidence didn't even match their own files. According to her, the rifle's serial number and engravings didn't align with what was entered into evidence. The source reportedly said, "That weapon doesn't match the one the FBI logged." That revelation sent shockwaves through every online thread. By this point, one question hung over everything. Could Candace Owens actually be right? Her version sounds outrageous, but she's asking what no one else will. Why would Tyler surrender but not confess? Why would agents fly across the country to take over? And most importantly, or if there really is a secret door cam video showing a second person, why hasn't it been released? Each unanswered question makes the official version look shakier than steer why. And Candace's story more dangerous. Whether she's unearthing real corruption or weaving the biggest theory of her career, one thing's clear, she's got the entire world watching. So what do you think? Is Candace actually exposing something bigger than anyone imagined, or just diving too deep into the chaos? Drop your thoughts below, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's been following the case. And get ready, because the next round of receipts could change everything.